It's week 6 of the NFL season, and here are my predictions for this week. But first, how did I do in week 5? In week 5, I was 10-4 in my predictions. Starting off the week on Thursday Night Football, we have the 1-4 Broncos versus the 4-1 Chiefs. Going into this game, the Chiefs are 10.5 point favorites. Last week, the Broncos lost 31-21 to the Jets, but it was still a close game. The Broncos scored a touchdown late in the fourth quarter to cut it to 3 points, but ended up giving up another touchdown and ended up losing by 10. And for the Chiefs, Travis Kelce injured his ankle during the game and is listed as questionable for this game, but I still have the Chiefs winning. Moving over to Sunday, we have the 3-2 Ravens versus the 2-3 Titans, and this game is being played in London. Entering this game, the Ravens are 4-point favorites, and the Ravens are going to win this week. Next, the 5-0 49ers are taking on the 2-2 Browns. Last week for the 49ers, Brock Purdy was 17 of 24 passing with 252 yards and 4 touchdowns. And George Kittle had 3 receptions for 67 yards and 3 touchdowns. And the Browns are coming off their bye week. I think the Browns could keep this game close with how good their defense has been. But Deshaun Watson is still questionable for this game with a shoulder injury. And if he doesn't play, the Browns are going to have a very hard time winning this game. So that's why I have the 49ers winning this week. Next, the 2-3 Commanders versus the 3-2 Falcons. Last week, Sam Howell had a very good game with 388 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. And Logan Thomas led the team with 9 receptions for 77 yards and a touchdown. And the Falcons are coming off a win over the Houston Texans 21-19. In that game, Desmond Ridder passed for 329 yards and a touchdown. I think this is going to be a very close game and that the Falcons are going to win. Next, the 3-1 Seahawks versus the 2-3 Bengals. Last week for the Bengals, Jamar Chase had 15 receptions for 192 yards and 3 touchdowns. And that sets a Bengals record for most receptions in a game. And the Seahawks are coming off their bye week. But I think the Bengals are going to win. Next, the 3-2 Colts versus the 3-2 Jaguars. And for the Colts, Anthony Richardson hurt his shoulder and has an AC joint sprain and is rolled out for this week. But in that game, Zach Moss had 23 carries for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the Jaguars beat the Buffalo Bills 25-20 in London. And Trevor Lawrence had 315 yards and 1 touchdown. And Calvin Ridley had 7 receptions for 122 yards. And Travis Etienne had a huge game with 26 carries for 136 yards, 2 touchdowns, and had 4 receptions for 48 yards. I have the Jaguars winning this game. Next, the 0-5 Panthers versus the 4-1 Miami Dolphins. Last week for the Panthers, Adam Thielen had 11 receptions for 107 yards and a touchdown. And for the Dolphins, Devin Achane had 11 carries for 151 yards and a touchdown. And Tyreek Hill had 8 receptions for 181 yards and a touchdown. And the Dolphins are by far the better team and will win. Next, the 1-4 Vikings versus the 1-4 Bears. Both of these teams have struggled a lot this season, but the Bears are coming off their first win of the season, and they beat the Commanders 40-20. And in that game, Justin Fields threw for 282 yards and 4 touchdowns, and DJ Moore had 8 receptions for 230 yards and 3 touchdowns. But I think the Vikings are going to win this week. Next, the 3-2 Saints versus the 2-3 Texans. Last week, the Saints beat the New England Patriots 34-0, and the Texans struggled to get into the end zone and scored 4 field goals. But I think they're going to have a bounce back week and win. Next, the 1-4 Patriots versus the 2-3 Raiders. The Patriots have not been good at all this season, and I think the Raiders are going to win. Next, the 4-1 Lions versus the 3-1 Buccaneers. I think this could be the best game of the week, and the Lions are coming off a great game where Jared Goff completed 20 of 28 passes for 236 yards and 3 touchdowns, and David Montgomery had 109 yards, and a touchdown. And the Buccaneers are coming off their bye week, and they have just been very good so far this season. And I have them winning. Next, the 1-4 Cardinals versus the 2-3 Rams. And last week, the Rams got Cooper Kupp back, and in his first game of the season, he had 8 receptions for 118 yards. And Puka Nacua continues to have an amazing rookie year with 7 receptions for 71 yards and a touchdown. And already has 46 receptions for 572 yards. And the Rams will win. Next, the 5-0 Eagles versus the 2-3 Jets. The Eagles have just been so good this season, and last week Jalen Hurts had 303 yards with 1 touchdown and an interception, and he had 15 carries for 72 yards and a touchdown. And A.J. Brown had a great game with 6 receptions for 127 yards. And the Jets are coming off a win over the Broncos. In that game, Breece Hall had 22 carries for 177 yards and a touchdown. But I have the Eagles winning. And the 1-4 Giants are taking on the 3-2 Bills. The Bills are just a way better team, and they will win. And on Monday Night Football, we have the 3-2 Cowboys versus the 2-2 Chargers. Last week, the Cowboys lost 42-10 to the 49ers, and Dak threw 3 interceptions. And the Chargers are coming off a bye week, and I have the Chargers winning. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Goodbye.